It's been a long time since anyone could say this seriously, but the Denver Broncos might finally have the AFC West on notice. Don't just take that at face value. In this video, we're breaking down the Broncos' draft class and their free agency moves, and we're stacking them up against the rest of the AFC West, the Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. Let's get into it. First up, the draft. The more you hear about Sean Payton's strategy, the clearer it becomes. Denver had a plan. And the execution? Impressive. We'll dive into the details, but the vision is starting to take shape, and it's one that could shake up the division. Now, about the Chargers, let's be real. This offseason has been rough in Los Angeles. They entered the offseason with nearly $90 million in cap space, second most in the NFL. And what happened? They lost key defenders like Poona Ford, Joey Bosa, and Asante Samuel Jr., who made 3 picks in his first playoff game. Asante's now visiting teams, but not the Chargers. They're all in on Khalil Mack, but both of their starting cornerbacks from last year are gone. Christian Wilkins is now in Kansas City. They picked up Christian Fulton, but still watch top-tier talent get scooped up by contenders like Buffalo and the Chiefs. And that's just free agency. They missed out on Evan Engram, who visited but didn't sign. And instead of maximizing their cap, they spent big on Najee Harris, while also drafting Omarion Hampton, all during what many call the deepest running back class in NFL history. Why use premium cap space on a running back, then double down in the draft? You could have taken a back like Frank Gore Jr. or To'o in the 5th round and still addressed bigger needs elsewhere. And here's the real kicker. After all those moves, they still have $26 million left in cap space. So what now? Sign cast-offs? Hope other teams' rejects suddenly become difference makers? The reality is, while other teams in the AFC West got sharper, the Chargers seem to have wasted opportunities, and the rest of the division is watching. So the Chargers' plan is to build a defense with players other teams gave up on? Good luck with that. Meanwhile, word around the league is that Von Miller could be heading back to the AFC West, and if that happens, it's game over for opposing quarterbacks. Sure, he's not the same Von from 2015, but pair him with Khalil Mack, and suddenly you've got 2 veteran leaders mentoring young pass rushers like Tuli Tuipulotu and Kyle Kennard. That kind of leadership, scary. Even with all that said, here's the harsh truth. The Chargers' offseason moves don't line up with their actual needs. Take their offensive line, for example. They went big on Mekhi Becton, hoping he'll anchor the unit. And yes, if he stays healthy, he could be a game changer. But that's a big if. 2 surgically repaired knees and reportedly pushing 400 pounds, that's a gamble, not a guarantee. It feels like the Chargers are trying to copy the Eagles' formula, build in the trenches, but without the foundation to back it up. If Becton can't stay on the field, it's all for nothing. As for Von Miller, let's be honest. Last season didn't inspire much confidence, but with a coach like Jim Harbaugh, there's belief he can squeeze every ounce of talent left. Harbaugh gets the most out of his guys, and if Von's got anything left in the tank, Harbaugh will find it. Still, bold prediction time. The Chargers finish last in the AFC West this season. Clip it. Save it. They had a brutal offseason and got run off the field by the Texans in the playoffs. That wasn't just a loss. That was a statement. Now let's shift to Denver. Say what you want, but the Broncos had a solid draft. A couple of picks were a bit of a reach. Sure, like Pat Bryant, who could have probably been taken a round or 2 later. But the potential is there. He's a big body target with upside. They also grabbed Jaden Blue and Jaden Barron, 2 young prospects who will bring depth and energy. Barron especially, alongside Pat Surtain II. That secondary is going to be a nightmare for opposing offenses. And yes, while R.J. Harvey might have come from a smaller school, Central Florida, don't sleep on him. He's one of the more underrated backs in this draft class and could turn out to be a steal. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos' draft class, and it's looking like they might have hit on some real gems. First up, R.J. Harvey. The kid's a stud. If Denver gives him enough touches, he's going to make an immediate impact. He's got the vision, burst, and versatility to become a dangerous weapon in Sean Payton's offense. Then there's Pat Bryant, a big, physical wide receiver. The pick might have come a little earlier than expected, but the potential is there. If the Broncos use him right, especially in red zone packages, he could be a valuable piece for Bo Nix or whoever's under center. One of the more under-the-radar additions, Savion Jones, the edge rusher out of LSU. He's got the traits you want in a developmental pass rusher. Pair him with Q Robinson from Alabama, and suddenly you've got two young edge threats learning behind guys like Nick Bonitto. And let's not overlook the selection of Jody Barron in the secondary. This was a major win. Some projected him as a late first or early second round talent. Teaming him up with Pat Surtain II, Riley Moss, and a deep cornerback room gives the Broncos one of the most intriguing young secondaries in the league. Other names like tight end Caleb Lohner and punter Jeremy Crawshaw round out the class. And hey, every team needs a punter, even if it doesn't move the needle. Overall, this was a defense-first draft, and it reflects what Sean Payton is trying to build: toughness, depth, and long-term stability. After already adding talent in free agency like Dre Greenlaw and Palaye Gaoteote, they doubled, even tripled, down on that identity in the draft. There are still questions. Will Pat Bryant live up to his draft slot? Will Harvey get enough touches to thrive as the joker in Payton's offense? And how soon will the new edge rushers contribute? But if you're a Broncos fan, this class should get you excited, not just for this season, but for the next 5 years. The Orange Crush might be making a comeback. Grade, B+A, few reaches keep it from being an A, but the vision is clear, and the pieces are falling into place. All right, let's bring some honesty to the table. Not everyone agrees on this Broncos draft class, and that's fair. Let's talk about it. Some analysts see it as a C-grade draft, and here's why. While Jody Barron is widely considered the best pick, and pairing him with Pat Surtain II could create a lockdown corner duo, there were a few questionable choices elsewhere. R.J. Harvey? Explosive, sure, but there's skepticism about whether the current scheme in Denver can maximize his skill set. Some feel the running game has lacked consistency in recent years, and Harvey, while talented, may be undersized for a heavy workload in the system. Then there's Pat Bryant. Some believed he was more of a day 3 prospect, yet Denver grabbed him earlier than expected. He's a big-bodied receiver, but whether he brings immediate value is still up for debate. Picks like Q Robinson and others on day 3, critics argue they felt a bit too safe. Solid players, but maybe lacking that wow factor or unique upside you want in a rebuilding roster. And yes, they used a pick on a punter, Jeremy Crawshaw. Every team needs special teams depth, but it's never going to be a flashy pick. Same goes for the tight end they picked late. With depth already in place at those positions, they likely won't have a major impact in year 1. So why do some people still give this class an A+? Because Sean Payton has a vision, and last year proved he's willing to go against conventional draft wisdom and win. Remember the criticism he faced for drafting Bo Nix? He was labeled a reach, yet ended up tossing the second most touchdowns ever by a rookie quarterback. If not for Jaden Daniels' historic season, Nix would have been the talk of the rookie class. The Broncos' front office clearly believes this class fits Payton's system. He even compared Pat Bryant to Michael Thomas, saying the receiver's low draft stock was misleading, mostly due to a poor 40-yard dash time. But when you turn on the tape from Illinois, Bryant jumps off the screen despite inconsistent quarterback play. He was a go-to guy in a Big Ten system that isn't easy for wideouts to dominate in. Bottom line, this draft may not wow everyone on paper, but if you trust Sean Payton's track record, this could end up being a steal of a class. Like last year, it might just take some time to fully appreciate. And let's close with this, because whether you agree with the Broncos' draft or not, there's one undeniable truth. Sean Payton believes in every one of these guys. Take Pat Bryant, for example. Payton immediately called him the steal of the draft. He can line up outside in the slot and he blocks, which matters in this offense. Payton's exact quote was, "If you block, you get the rock." That's a mentality Denver lacked last season, and it's part of why Bryant may carve out an early role. Critics question the selection of R.J. Harvey, calling him undersized. But for the record, he's basically the same size as Ashton Jeanty, and Payton has compared him to Darren Sproles. Not just because of size, but for his burst, versatility, and vision. Now, not every compact back turns into Sproles, but when Sean Payton sees a fit, he usually makes it work. Even the punter pick, yes, Denver drafted a punter, comes with strategy. Jeremy Crawshaw is an Aussie with a cannon of a leg. His college numbers at Florida would have ranked him as the 5th best punter in the NFL last season. And kicking at elevation in Denver, expect big hang time and field flipping punts. Then there's Caleb Lohner, the late round tight end with a wild story. Former D1 basketball player, just one season of football at Utah, But Payton said Lohner reminds him of guys like Jimmy Graham, raw athletic tight ends who develop fast in the right system. It's bold, sure, but it's a bet Payton's made before and won. Now listen, we know this sounds like drinking the Kool-Aid, but sometimes that's exactly what it takes. Payton's track record speaks for itself. This time last year, people crushed him for drafting Bo Nix. Then Nix came out and threw the second most touchdown passes ever by a rookie quarterback. If not for Jaden Daniels, he'd have run away with the spotlight. Yes, the division is still loaded, and yes, the Broncos have more to prove, but if you trust the process, if you trust the vision, then this might be the start of something big in Denver. So whether you're riding high on Broncos optimism or still skeptical, drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe for more. We're going live once a week this season, and I want to see Broncos country in the chat. Enjoy your 3-day weekend, and remember, the Broncos are back.